Kevin Petersen with the Chronic Hope Institute is joining us now.
We're here at the Augustine Recovery Center. This week's episode of Recovery at Home, Kevin Petersen.
So my first question for you, Kevin, is how would you even know if there's an issue that needs some attention?
With the pandemic and everything else going on in the world, stress and anxiety really go hand in hand. How can it ease that?
Hey, this sounds like something that would really help me. I'm a little overwhelmed with where to start.
Yes.
What would you say is a good first step?
Plenty of us do have families and friends that love us and support us, but what about the ones that don't? You know, whenever we talk to them, how does that affect them?
So tell us before we go, Kevin, how can people find that help?
No, I mean, I wasn't, I wasn't blackout drinking at 13.
Right.
I was like, oh, this feels great. I mean, there are some people that try alcohol and drugs at that age and they're like, ugh, this is gross. That wasn't me.
Yeah.
I loved it.
When we talk about this, you obviously at some point started your recovery journey. How much longer after all of that did that begin?
So I started around 13, and then when I was 26, my parents sort of circled the wagons and said, we love you, but it's over. And until you clean up your act, you're out of the family. But then they also offered me sort of a lifeline and said, look, if you're willing to get help, we'll get you help. And so I started seeing a therapist in 1991 with my dad in January. And after 5 months of that, the therapist looked at me and said, I think you're a drug addict and alcoholic and I think you need help. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And so then I started going to 12-step meetings right away.
And we touched on this a little bit, but exercising, if you are actually chronically clinically depressed, it can help your mood in addition to, medications that you're on as well.
Absolutely. So in the most recent study from the American Psychiatric Association, it showed that 1 hour, just 1 hour a week actually of exercise reduces depression and anxiety.
Well, now let's go the opposite way. How do you go about helping somebody who you don't have as much, authority over?
Well, that's when you can just sort of look at them and say, I love you and I care about you and I'm really concerned about your choices and I'm concerned about your behavior. And so what I would like you to do is consider altering or slowing down. But if you're not willing to do that, then I'm going to have to put some distance between us.
Can you tell a little bit about what he does for you?
Sure. So, sort of like what you were saying, is he's super well behaved. He puts everybody at ease. He makes everybody feel safe and comfortable. Therapy dogs in general have an amazing ability to just sort of bring the tension down. I mean, I've literally had clients that walked in completely upset, freaked out, crying. Bert climbs into their lap and they're just like, this is the best day of my life. Try reducing, try what we call harm reduction. See how that works, see if you can. Some people can, some people can't. I couldn't. I kept trying over and over again to temper it and slow it down, and I just didn't have that ability.
Everybody's journey looks a little bit different, but the one thing they all share in common is you have to begin somewhere.
Absolutely, yeah.
Kevin Petersen, our friend, thank you so much for being with us. Seriously, thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing that with us.
It's my pleasure. I mean, it's one of the great gifts I have got. I'm happy to give.